Look, I'm going to tell you something that will fundamentally change how you see every moral choice you've ever made. Your parents didn't teach you this. Your teachers sure as hell didn't. And 99% of men will live their entire lives as moral slaves without ever realizing it. 150 years ago, Friedrich Nietzsche identified the most brutal truth about human morality ever discovered. A truth so dangerous that it exposes the psychological chains around most people's minds. A truth so powerful that once you understand it, you can never go back to being unconscious. And here's what will blow your mind. You've been programmed since birth to follow a moral system designed to keep you weak, compliant, and easy to control. Not by some conspiracy, but by a psychological pattern that infected Western civilization over 2,000 years ago. So why didn't anyone teach you this? Simple. Because the system depends on your ignorance. Because questioning these values makes you dangerous. Because seeing this clearly makes you free. And free men are harder to control. I'm about to show you Nietzsche's most controversial discovery: slave morality versus master morality. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which one is running your life. Here's the first truth your father never told you. There are only two types of moral systems in the world, and they're at war inside your mind right now. Master morality, the value system of the strong, the creators, the men who forge their own path. Slave morality, the value system of the weak, designed to make strength feel guilty and weakness feel virtuous. Nietzsche wasn't talking about actual masters and slaves. He was talking about psychological types. And here's the kicker. Most people today, including you, are operating from slave morality without even knowing it. Let me show you how this works. For most of human history, strong men created values based on what they admired in themselves and others. Courage, excellence, nobility, strength, beauty, intelligence, creativity. These weren't moral rules handed down from above. These were qualities that powerful people naturally respected. The master morality mindset says, this is good because it's excellent. This is bad because it's weak or ugly or cowardly. Think about it. A warrior respects courage because he values it in himself. An artist respects creativity because that's his strength. A leader respects decisive action because that's how he operates. Translation: master morality comes from strength looking at the world and saying, I value what makes me and others great. Watch this in action. That friend of yours who's genuinely successful. Not fake Instagram successful, but actually building something meaningful. Notice how he talks about excellence, about pushing limits, about creating value. He's not trying to be moral. He's expressing strength through his values. The entrepreneur who works 80-hour weeks not because he has to, but because he loves building something from nothing. The athlete who pushes through pain because excellence requires it. The artist who sacrifices comfort to create something beautiful. That's master morality in action. Values created by strength for strength. But here's where it gets dark. Nietzsche discovered that when weak people can't compete with strength, they don't try to become stronger. Instead, they flip the moral script. Slave morality says, what the strong call good, we'll call evil. What we are weak, suffering, humble, we'll call virtuous. This isn't conscious. It's a psychological defense mechanism. When you can't be excellent, you make excellence seem immoral. When you can't be powerful, you make power seem corrupt. When you can't create, you make ambition seem selfish. Here's the brutal reality. Slave morality is the morality of resentment. It doesn't create values. It reacts against them. Think about the people in your life who constantly talk about how money is evil while being broke, who say ambition is selfish while accomplishing nothing, who claim that successful people got lucky while never taking risks themselves. That's slave morality. It makes weakness feel virtuous and strength feel guilty. Your father probably never told you this, but slave morality has been the dominant moral system in the West for over 2,000 years. And it's been programmed into you since childhood. Don't stand out too much. Be humble. Money isn't everything. Don't be too ambitious. Put others before yourself. Blessed are the meek. Sound familiar? Every single one of these is slave morality in action. They're not inherently wrong, but notice the pattern. They all discourage strength, excellence, and self-assertion. Here's what Nietzsche realized. Christianity, socialism, modern victim culture, they're all expressions of the same slave morality. They make suffering virtuous and excellence suspicious. And here's the part that'll keep you up at night. You've been following these rules your entire life, thinking you were being good. But what if you were actually being weak? Let me show you how this plays out in ways you've never noticed. In your career, slave morality says, don't be too aggressive. Don't ask for too much. Be grateful for what you have. Don't make others feel bad about their lack of success. Master morality says, create so much value that they have to pay you more. Set standards so high that others are inspired to rise. Excellence serves everyone. In relationships, slave morality says, put her needs before yours. Don't be too demanding. Be grateful she chose you. Don't make her feel bad about her choices. Master morality says, become so valuable that high-quality people want to be around you. Set boundaries that protect what you've built. Attract through strength, not neediness. In social situations, slave morality says, don't offend anyone. Make everyone feel comfortable. Don't express strong opinions. Blend in. Master morality says, stand for something meaningful. Let people know where you stand. Create the culture you want to live in. See the difference? Slave morality is always reactive, always apologizing for strength. Master morality is creative, confident, unapologetic about excellence. Here's how to know if you're operating from slave morality. Do you feel resentment toward people who have what you want? That successful guy at work. Do you automatically assume he's probably a jerk or got lucky? That confident woman. Do you think she's probably arrogant or fake? That wealthy person. Do you immediately assume they must have cheated or inherited it? If yes, congratulations. You've got a classic case of slave morality resentment. Instead of using their success as inspiration to become stronger, you're using moral judgments to make yourself feel better about being weaker. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you judge someone's strength as immoral, you're choosing to stay weak. But here's what most people miss about Nietzsche's insight. He wasn't saying slave morality is always wrong or that master morality is always right. He was saying that unconsciously following either one makes you a puppet. True strength, what Nietzsche called the Übermensch, means consciously choosing your values instead of inheriting them. Sometimes the master morality approach is right. When you're building something, when you're leading people, when you're creating value, you need strength, ambition, excellence. Sometimes compassion and humility serve your highest goals. But you choose these consciously, strategically, not because you've been programmed to feel guilty about being powerful. The key difference: master morality chooses compassion from strength. Slave morality chooses compassion from weakness. So here's your choice. You can keep following moral rules you never consciously chose, living by values that were designed to keep you manageable and weak. Or you can do what Nietzsche called the most difficult thing in the world: create your own values. Not by throwing out all morality, but by examining every moral belief you have and asking, did I choose this because it serves my highest goals? Or because I was programmed to believe it? Question everything. Why do I feel guilty about wanting more money? Why do I apologize for being confident? Why do I feel bad about setting high standards? Why do I resent successful people? Why do I make myself small to make others comfortable? If you can't give a conscious, strategic reason for a moral belief, you're probably following someone else's programming. Here's what operating from conscious values looks like. Instead of money is evil, money is a tool that amplifies whatever values I already have. Instead of don't be selfish, taking care of myself first allows me to serve others from strength. Instead of stay humble, confidence in my abilities serves everyone who depends on me. Instead of don't judge people, having standards protects my energy and attracts quality people. You're not becoming heartless. You're becoming strategic about when and how you express compassion. When you operate from consciously chosen values instead of inherited programming, something incredible happens. You stop being reactive. You stop feeling guilty for being excellent. You stop resenting others for being strong. You become what Nietzsche called beyond good and evil. Not amoral, but operating from a higher level of moral thinking that serves your highest goals and brings out the best in everyone around you. The man with conscious values doesn't need external validation because he's not following external rules. He doesn't feel threatened by other people's success because he's focused on his own excellence. He doesn't feel guilty about wanting great things because he knows his strength serves something larger than himself. So here's your reality check. Every moral belief you have is either chosen or inherited. There's no middle ground. If you inherited it, you're operating from programming designed by people who may not have had your best interests at heart. If you chose it, you're operating from strength and consciousness. The uncomfortable truth is that most men never examine their moral programming. They follow rules they learned in childhood and wonder why they feel weak, guilty, and resentful their entire lives. But you're not most men anymore. You now understand the difference between slave morality and master morality. You know that values can be created consciously instead of inherited unconsciously. So what are you going to do with this knowledge? You can go back to following inherited values that make you feel safe, but keep you small. You can keep feeling guilty about wanting excellent things and resentful toward people who have them. Or you can do the hardest thing in the world. Create a value system that serves your highest potential while bringing out the best in others. Not slave morality, reactive, resentful, designed to make weakness feel virtuous. Not unconscious master morality, strength without wisdom, power without purpose. But conscious master morality, values created by strength, for strength, in service of something greater than yourself. Because here's Nietzsche's ultimate insight. The highest morality isn't about following rules. It's about becoming the kind of person whose instincts are so aligned with excellence that you naturally do the right thing. Not because you have to, but because you've trained yourself to want what's truly good. The question isn't whether you're good or evil. The question is, are you strong enough to create your own definition of good? And are you brave enough to live by it? Even when the world tells you that strength is selfish and excellence is arrogant. Because once you understand that your current values were programmed into you by people who benefited from your compliance, you realize something incredible. You were never meant to be small. You were meant to be dangerous. Not dangerous to innocent people. Dangerous to systems that depend on your weakness. Dangerous to anyone who profits from your self-doubt. Dangerous to the parts of yourself that choose comfort over growth. The choice, as always, is yours. If this shattered something in your mind, if you felt that recognition of your own moral programming, hit that subscribe button right now. Because next week, I'm going to show you Nietzsche's most powerful concept, the will to power, why everything you've been taught about ambition is backwards, and how to use your drive in a way that serves both your success and your soul. This isn't philosophy class. This is the psychological playbook that separates the 1% from everyone else. Don't miss it.